First chapter is reproduction in organisms. This chapter deals with some types of reproduction and the lifespan of organisms. On the basis of lifespan of organism life phase can be divided into three: juvenile, reproductive, and senescence. In simple, if we say juvenile is the born phase or the starting phase of life, whereas senescence is the death phase and reproductive phase is the youth or young phase. This is death phase. The reproductive phase, as we know, reproduction is of two types, asexual and sexual. Asexual reproduction is further divided into many categories such as binary fission, multiple fission, budding, spore formation, gemule formation, and vegetative propagation. Binary fission can be of three types, that is irregular that is seen in amoeba, longitudinal in euglena, and transverse in paramecium. It is like this one organism. If this organism has got binary fission from any plane, not regular, then we say it irregular, as it is seen in amoeba. But if this same organism binary fission occur in a say straight line, that is longitudinally, it is seen in euglena, that is called longitudinal binary fission. And if transversely, that is in paramecium, so that is called as transverse binary fission. Second, multiple fission. Then budding in animals, it is seen in hydra. In plants, it is seen in yeast. In plant kingdom, we can say it is a fungi, yeast is a fungi, and in plant kingdom it comes, so yeast. Then conidia zoospores in Chlamydomonas, gemule formation in Spongilla, which is a porifera. Vegetative propagation is again of various type, like runner, which is seen in oxalis, rhizome in ginger, sucker in chrysanthemum, tuber in potato, offset in pistia, bulb in onion, leaf bud in bryophyllum, and bulbil in agave. Then comes sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction comprises of three events: pre-fertilization events, fertilization events, and post-fertilization events. Out of which pre-fertilization events comprises of two events: gametogenesis, that is formation of gamete, then gamete transfer, then followed by fertilization events. This can be of two types, external or internal. That means fertilization can take place either external, like in fish and frog, or it is mostly aquatic, or it can be internal, as in dog and cat. Then followed by post-fertilization events, which comprises of zygote formation, embryogenesis, and embryogenesis lead to the formation of seed or young one. This is the mind map for chapter number 1. Like it is written, reproduction in organism is the characteristic of all organisms. That means all the organisms perform reproduction in some or the other way. It may be asexual or sexual. It is a process in which an organism gives rise to young ones similar to itself. In asexual reproduction, clones are formed, whereas in sexual reproduction, offsprings are formed. In asexual reproduction, sporulation, as I told, it is reproduction by spores, which is seen in mold. So this is our first type. Second is binary fission, which is seen in amoeba, and regeneration is the third type. And fourth type is budding, which is seen in yeast. Vegetative reproduction or vegetative propagation in potato eye, bryophyllum, ginger, agave, water hyacinth, opsia, offset. And then there are some special cases for reproduction, like parthenogenesis. It is unfertilized egg. This egg is not fertilized, so it is considered or categorized under asexual reproduction. And the last one is gamule formation. Example is sponges. Then sexual reproduction on the basis of embryogenesis, type of animal. On the development on embryo, we can divide it into two parts: animals that lay fertilized egg, or that are called oviparous, and zygote that directly produce young one, or the development into a young one inside the female body happens, that is called viviparous. So these are the two types of animals. Then further, with diagram, it is shown how amoeba divides and how the fertilization or embryogenesis occurs in human. Then asexual reproduction with definitions and some examples. In this, it is shown binary fission and multiple fission. Binary fission, there is one significance of binary fission, that in binary fission, parent is not left, we can say, or there is no remain of parents, cause this the one parent only divides into two daughter cells. So in binary fission, this is the difference. This is what as irregular binary fission. Then this is longitudinal binary fission, and this is transverse binary fission. This is the difference between binary fission and multiple fission. Example is again amoeba. Sporulation in amoeba, this is. Then budding in hydra and yeast is shown. This bird will get detached and then form a new young one. This will be known as budding. This is gamule formation. Then fragmentation happens in planaria and hydra, and the example it is shown with diagram. Then asexual reproduction in plants, fission, buds, fragmentation, same it is. Spore formation, these are the some spores, like zoospores of Chlamydomonas. These are type of spores: conidia of Penicillium, gamules, and sponges. This is the diagram. This is asexual spores, types of asexual spores in algae. Now comes vegetative propagation. It can be divided or classified into two: natural and artificial. In natural method of propagation, there is development of new plant from some organ of mother plant under suitable environmental condition. This can be from stems, leaf, root, or even flower in some cases. Like examples are given through roots. It can be seen in sweet potato. Remember, not potato, it's sweet potato. Through stems and runner lawn glass offset in pistia, etc. These are some diagrams that potato plant eyes sprouting, we can say, or ginger with new plant is shown. This is vegetative propagation by bulbous, or vegetative propagation by leaves. In this diagram it is shown. Then comes artificial methods. Artificial method propagation, artificial vegetative propagation. In this, some part of plant organ is utilized for obtaining a new complete plant. Out of this, most common is cutting, layering, and grafting. So we have to see this one by one. This is the diagram of cutting, layering, and grafting shown. And significance of vegetative propagation, this is shown. Then sexual reproduction, pre-fertilization events, gametogenesis. So we have to remember that gametes are of two types, male and female gametes, and gametes are haploid, that is N, not 2N. If the gametes are same, like this, if I made these two, these are same, so we can call it isogamete. But if I make it like this, in this manner, this is suppose purple is male and this is female. So these are anisogamy or anisogametes or heterogametes, whereas the first example is isogamete or homogamete or homogametes. So this was the basic difference. Now this is the diagram. See this an isogamete of cladophora gametes are isogamete, whereas in fucus and alga or human we can see heterogametes. This is some example or diagram of first is of cockroach, then first is of earthworm, second cockroach, another. Then gamete transfer. This is the process. Then fertilization, the fusion of male and female gametes is called syngamy. And as a result of this, a diploid zygote is formed. A diploid is very simple to understand, like one female and one male, N and N, when cross, then it forms 2N zygote. Zygote is always 2N. Then this process, the process is known as fertilization. How fertilization take place? It is shown in this diagram. Then post-fertilization events include formation of zygote, this, then embryogenesis, this example with diagram, and these are some organism with chromosome number in meiocyte, that means 2N, and chromosome number in gametes, that is N. These are some pictures, a few kinds of fruits showing seeds and protective pericard. This is the flowchart of this chapter. To sum up, like asexual reproduction with full examples, it is given. Here you can see binary fission occurs in amoeba and paramecium, budding in hydra and yeast, conidia in penicillium, zoospore, example chlamydomonas, multiple fission in amoeba, fragmentation in hydra, gamuse in spongilla, and vegetative propagation further divided into runners, rhizomes, sucker, tuber, offset, bulb, leaf bud, bulbil. And then comes sexual reproduction. There's three events, pre-fertilization events, gametogenesis, gamete transfer, fertilization events internal and external, post-fertilization events zygote, and embryogenesis. And here are some questions like what is meiocyte, and kind of bees, which type of reproduction happens, that is parthenogenesis, and what is special in flowering bamboo, and some other examples. So this was our chapter number 1, reproduction in organisms.